in the chamber, the Security Council had held close consultation on the situation in Iraq and the activities of UNAMI over the last 4 months. I know Mr. Blatner already addressed you, so I can be rather short. During the consultations, members of the Council expressed great concern over the developments in Anbar province, in particular in the cities of Ramadi and Fallujah. They condemned all terrorist attacks, all violence that only aims to further destabilize the country and the region. Council members stressed in this regard the importance for the Iraqi authorities, the local communities and the international community to further strengthen their cooperation against violence and terror and to help meet the security needs of all Iraqis. Council members also expressed strong support for the commitment of the Iraqi government to the protection of the civilian population in Anbar province and elsewhere, and to the provision of humanitarian relief, and encouraged the Iraqi authorities to continue working with the UN and humanitarian agencies to ensure the delivery of humanitarian relief. Members of the Council also stressed that the national inclusive dialogue of all political forces to address rising tensions and the root causes of Iraq's political and security instability is now more urgently needed than ever. They highlighted in this regard the need for democratic processes in Iraq to prevail despite the security challenges. Parties should remain committed to holding the parliamentary elections for Iraq at the end of next month on 30th of April. Council members expressed concern about the human rights situation, notably as concerns the situation and rights of detainees, the protection and promotion of women's rights and children's rights, and the application of the death penalty. The issue of the residents of the Camp Rouia temporary transit location was raised during consultations. We understand that today 356 residents have been relocated outside Iraq, with the largest number being accepted by Albania and Germany. In this context, the appointment of the Special Advisor to the Secretary General on the relocation of the residents, Mrs. Jane Paul-Lutz, was welcomed as a good step forward in the search for relocation countries. Council members also stressed the importance of providing all necessary security and humanitarian arrangements to Camp Rouia residents, as well as the need for the Iraqi authorities promptly to release investigation into past security incidents. Finally, Council members also discussed the issue of the repatriation or return of all Kuwaiti and third country nationals or their remains, and the return of Kuwaiti property, including the National Archives. Council members regretted in this regard that no substantial progress was achieved in the course of the last few months. They expressed the hope that efforts would be increased in order to resolve this issue. And the Security Council also held consultation on the issue of the ballistic missile launches. And the Council member requested the Presidency to read out the following elements to the press, which have been agreed by all Council members. The Security Council held consultation to address the serious situation and listen to the many concerns among all Council members arising from the recent ballistic missile launches by the DPRK. Members of the Security Council condemned this launch as a violation of Security Council Resolutions 1718, 1874, 2087 and 2094. Members of the Security Council agreed to consult on an appropriate response.
So when you say appropriate response, I mean, did anyone bring up whether that would be a press statement or a presidential statement or even a resolution, and how would it relate to the Sanctions Committee that you chaired?
It was not discussed. It was standing an appropriate response, and we will consult over the next days to quickly give a response in this respect, but no format was discussed.
Is there any other measures?
Sorry.
Do you expect any other meetings or any measures in the future on this specific missile launch issue?
As I said, the Council members agreed to consult on an appropriate response, so we will see if this will be held in consultations or it will be through talks in this respect, and then we will.
Was there any discussion of whether this launch in any way related to the trilateral meeting that was held in The Hague between South Korea, Japan, and the U.S.? Did any delegation raise what may have been behind the timing of the firing?
No, there were no discussions in this respect, but there was unanimous condemnation of the launches, and as I said, also clear condemnation that these are violations of the sanctions regime.